Welcome to What in the Smut podcast.
Where the books are horny and so are we. I'm Elle.
And I'm Kay. So what do we have going on in the Smutverse this week?
Good news only. Reading Rainbow is back after 20 years.
Yay!
I don't know about you, but my childhood was built on reading, and LeVar Burton and Reading Rainbow were a huge part of that. The revival is YouTube-based and hosted by Michael Threets, who is a Bay Area librarian who went viral on social media.
I love that.
Yeah, it's so good. And he is so wholesome. Like, you should check him out. I want to say his handle on Instagram is Michael3T, MYCHAL.
Okay.
And he is just so wholesome and so good and just like believes so fully in the power of libraries and reading. He is such a good successor to LeVar Burton. The original premiered in 1983 and at the time was funded by the Department of Education. So if you're wondering why its return is confined to YouTube and the Reading Rainbow website, wonder no longer.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Reading Rainbow seeks to make reading fun for everyone. All races, all backgrounds, all levels of reading. The reactions have been out of this world, said Michael. I am overwhelmed in the best of ways.
I love this so much. I think that the world needs this kind of reset. And
Yes.
I mean, there's been so many reboots of so many things, and usually I'm rolling my eyes at them.
Yes.
But this is fantastic. I can't wait for my kids to see it. Like,
Right? First
That's great.
episode's already live, so you should check it out. In other news that's 20 years in the making, we are fully into season. This week marks the 20th anniversary of Twilight.
no,
Yes.
it doesn't. 20 years?
Yes.
Nope, I'm not old enough.
I
No.
know. It's upsetting, but it is true. But now is as good a time as any to remind you all that as iconic as that series may be, Stephanie Meyer perpetrated many harmful stereotypes and did no research about Indigenous communities and their legends and history. So, make sure to diversify your reading. If you're looking for a good place to start, you can check out From the Mixed Up Desk on Threads and Instagram for some amazing recommendations.
Terrible as social media can be,
Yes.
things like this put a little faith back into the world, I suppose.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this isn't necessarily that they're trying to say, don't watch or read any of the Twilight movies, but there's an issue. Here's what was wrong, and here's how you can go about educating yourself to fix those mistakes. I like it. I'm on board.
Yep. Speaking of questionable portrayals of legends, let's talk about a book that really pushed the envelope. Okay?
So this week we read Hallowpeen by Holly Wilde. So we hadn't done a Holly Wilde book in quite a while. So the synopsis says 3 women, one occult ritual, and an urban legend come true are waiting for you to discover just how delicious Halloween can be. Everyone in the small town of Hollow Springs knows that Halloween night is when the veil of sentience is at its thinnest. So no one would attempt a ridiculous ritual on the night of a full moon, right? Wrong. This sentient object romance follows 2 friends who tempt fate deliciously and end up having a legendary time with the local urban legends. Curl up with some candy and a pumpkin spice latte while you enjoy the autumnal delights of Hallowpeen.
Yep.
I have so many thoughts on this week's
same.
book. Again, we got some more men with pumpkin heads.
Yes. Again.
There's so much more to Halloween than just
I know.
pumpkin heads.
I know. Why don't we have any ghosts? Skeletons?
Yeah.
Mummies?
Anything. I mean, this
Anything.
is on us. We chose the books with the pumpkin heads.
No.
Next Halloween, we'll do better.
Yeah, we will. We will.
Where would you put this one on the smut scale?
I think this is level 3.
Okay.
I actually don't think it reaches DubCon.
No, I don't think so either. In fact, they, in several cases, are asking for consent.
Yes, up front.
Up front and like more than once.
Yes,
to
like
continue with
repeatedly.
next step. Do you
Yes.
still want to do this kind of thing? So yeah, I
Yes.
would agree.
I mean, they're monsters, definitely.
Weak attempts at monster dicks, though.
Weak attempts at monster dick. And don't even get me started on man candy, because I'm going to have a whole ass TED talk about that.
I know. I have it highlighted where
I'm sure
I'm like,
you do.
she's gonna have things to say about this.
So many things to say about that. But I think it's level 3. What do you think?
I would agree. I don't know. There's some like questionable level 5 icky sticky tangle of tentacles, but also
This is true.
even when there is kind of like a pile of people / monsters,
Yeah.
nothing's too wild or outrageous about it.
Yeah, that's exactly where I landed.
In terms of this cuddle puddle, if you will,
Yeah, we'll go with that.
it's as vanilla as a group of 4 could be, I suppose.
I agree. I think that's exactly right. So we're going with level 3. 3 is a crowd. Even though there are 4 participants, they're all mostly human engaging in vanilla-ish intercourse.
Yes.
Okay.
So, trigger warnings. We do get a preface from Holly Wilde. It says, this is a sexy story with some spooky scenes. However, all intimacy is fully consensual. The sexy scenes with bondage, shibari, cum eating, polyamory, and orgasm denial. The spooky scenes around the fire talking about murder, suspense while searching for other dimensional beings, and conversations about the disappearance of a woman due to an occult ritual gone wrong. This book is written to be fun and silly, but I recognize not all of those themes feel good to everyone. Please read at your discretion. Mental health is important, and I value yours. Again, I do love when that gets added in there, whether it is during the triggers or whatnot. I do like that authors are saying, like, either this is a little dark and you need to take care of yourself, or just like, it's okay if you don't want to read this book. Like, it's not for everyone. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So this does have a 3.6 rating on Amazon, a 3.3 on Goodreads. A 5-star on Amazon says, Holly has done it again. This was amazing. Hallowpeens and man candy. Oh my God, I'm honestly a little in love with man candy. He was so sweet, and I was actually so happy at the happily ever after. I love the silly of this story. It doesn't take itself seriously, and it's amazing. So many good quotable lines, and I'll never look at gummy bears the same. I'm about to leave candy in every bowl in the house and spell I cup at every full moon now. 10 out of 10, highly recommend.
If you think you know what this story is about, you don't.
No, No, I could not disagree more with most of that review.
Are you identifying more with this 2-star?
Well, actually, the last one is really my favorite. But this 2-star from Amazon says, Hello puns. We know Holly Wilde goes all in on her puns.
She does.
She must have created her own thesaurus for puns on any type of genitalia.
Yes.
So this review says, yeast infections and delightfully terrible puns everywhere. I hope I never hear another pun again. Thank you very much, Holly. I do kind of agree with this, but yeah.
Yep. A 4-star from Goodreads. Picked this book purely because it had 2 of my favorite things on the cover. And well, have you ever had that dream where a carved pumpkin becomes sentient, whisks you away to their alternate dimension, and has their way with you? No? Well, neither have I. But after reading this, that's probably the dream I'm gonna have. I don't know what I've just read. I don't know how I feel about it, but I know what I'll be saying into the mirror this Halloween.
Nope.
No.
No.
Absolutely not. And finally, a 2-star on Goodreads.
It made me laugh.
The fact that I read Uncircumcised Seed Hole says everything about the rating. Was it bad? No. Can I, in good faith, rate it higher than a 2-star? Also no.
This resonated with me very much so, because
I'm gonna lose my mind.
I did, in fact, go, are you fucking kidding? Uncircumcised seed hole?
Seed hole. I think
No,
I
thank
have
you.
it highlighted.
I do too. Yeah. No, thank you. Yeah. So, as usual, we will be getting into the nitty gritty of all of this. We will explain where exactly uncircumcised seed hole does come in in the story. 100% spoilers. If you do want to give Holly Wilde her page counts on Kindle Unlimited, pause here and we will be right here waiting for you when you get back.
And please hurry because I am bursting with opinions about this.
Same.
We start off strong with a really good dedication and also kind of a plot twist because I don't know how I feel about this and I'll be curious to hear your thoughts.
Okay.
The dedication says, to the monster fuckers who make every season spooky season, and to Casey, hope you enjoy this sweet treat.
I love that. That she must have written her best friend into this book.
Right? Okay, so I'm curious, like, if you found out that your friend wrote a book and titled like one of the characters your name and your spelling and had this happen to you.
Honestly, it'd be preferable to the alternative of being Asha.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I preferred Casey's story to Asha's story. And we know how I feel about a Why Choose. So that
is
says
saying
something.
a lot. Yeah. I don't think I want to be in either of their positions.
I didn't hate Casey's story. We'll get into it in a bit.
Let's get into it. All right. So I wasn't expecting, I kind of glazed right past the fact that this started with a part 1.
Mm-hmm. So did I.
And I was not expecting part 2.
I was not expecting part 2. And then I was not expecting parts 3 or 4.
No. To be clear, this book is 100 pages.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be enough content here for multiple parts. And yet.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know if it was last week or the week before where I was like, we just really kind of like, I was 25 pages in and I felt like I hadn't been reading for all that long. It was the opposite for this one. For me, I was like, I'm only 16 pages in here. I feel like I should be halfway through. This is taking forever.
Yes.
But again, there's so many puns in here and that's her deal. Like that's what she does.
Yeah.
But it takes me out of the story where I'm like, it's not even like, oh, that's a good one anymore when it's like every other sentence.
Yes. It is jarring.
Yeah.
I will say this also felt very teenager at the start of this one.
It did. We had another book where we start off around a campfire, which, I mean, is fine. I enjoy a campfire.
I don't know who still has keggers with red Solo cups, like as adults.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
Right? Like that feels very college.
Well, maybe, do we ever get an actual age on them? Because maybe they're like early 20s.
This is Casey's house.
Yeah.
So like she's a homeowner in her early 20s in this economy? I don't think so. The Hollow Springs real estate market must be a buyer's market is all I have to say about that.
That is a good point. Well, I mean, there's a lot of spooky things that happen. So perhaps unless you've grown up there, people aren't looking to move into the town.
That's a good point. It would be hard to be a real estate agent here.
Maybe she is a real estate agent and that's how she's able to get this. Maybe she got this house at a deal.
Maybe.
So they are telling scary stories. I feel like this kind of went on for a little too long.
I agree.
They're at Asha's best friend's house, Casey's house, and she's glad that they're there this year because last year everybody brought booze and nobody brought food.
Yeah, because it was at a man's house.
Which mood. It was realistic, sure, but I think it was for a book that's only 100 pages, this part of it took too long.
I did like this line because Asha is sitting around the story listening to them tell their spooky tales. She thinks, I don't particularly like monsters or horror movies. There's something about demons that freaks me out the most. If I were in charge of story time, everyone would be sharing adventures with masked men who give out hand necklaces and call you princess, which that's the demographic for this book for sure.
Absolutely. So we get a random person that's at this party that speaks up and says, I have a story to tell, but I don't know where to start. And nobody seems to know who this person is, which for a small town is strange. Again, this kind of brings me back to like Kiss of the Basilisk, where there's only like 14 people in their grade level. Yeah.
And they're like,
oh man, never thought I was going to bring it back to that book.
Here we are. It does say that like Most of the folks are Hollow Springs locals. The rest are a mix of people from neighboring towns who have heard about our Halloween hangout and have come to party with us. She does an okay job of like explaining, like why
It's
there are
not
strangers.
so strange that there's
Yeah.
people they don't know. But still, for this woman to come alone to this party and then volunteer this scary story on the night that, like, what the scary thing happened 5 years ago just was a little out there for me.
Yeah, I can't imagine having like a trauma that you haven't dealt with and being like, where the best arena is to deal with this? At a stranger's house with people I don't know and telling them all about it around a campfire. Like,
The anniversary of it happening.
yeah, Claudia, you need to go to therapy.
So Claudia says this isn't a ghost story. What I'm about to tell you really happened 5 years ago. It scared the shit out of me then, and it still scares the shit out of me even now. So we find out that she had a best friend, Samantha. They were connecting with spirituality, but where Claudia stuck with crystals and zodiacs, Samantha started going down a darker path. She would research paranormal rumors and perform occult rituals online, and she had a big following. So one night she decided that she was going to do this big ritual.
I will say, for how long this dragged on and for how immature the group of people seemed to be, I was pleasantly surprised by the stage setting here.
Yeah.
Because it felt very spooky. Maybe it's the full moon, but something feels different about this Halloween. It's like the air is crisper, everything is more pronounced. The clouds look like they're waiting for a witch to fly along their foggy wisps. I'm chilled to the bone, even though I'm in my coziest sweater and have landed one of the closest spots to the fire pit. We've done a really, really good job of putting you in fall, in like a spooky season. Like, yeah, it still feels like a college party, but you can almost like believe that they're gonna actually get into some weird shit and it's gonna like fit. And I actually kind of liked this more modern, like she's like Samantha's an influencer. She's doing rituals online to all of her followers. Like, I think that's fun. That's a fun twist. But the moment where I was like, oh, there's Holly, was when she described the ritual.
And she says to the crowd, have you ever had someone try to get you to spell I cup? And one of the men around the fire goes, yeah, ICUP.
And she loses her shit.
Freaks out. So again, we've got a stranger here and people are probably like, whoa. So we find out that her friend Samantha was really excited about this live cast. It was the biggest one she's ever produced. She did have a way with the way that she would film things and the angles and the setting the scene and all of that. And on the third time that she spelled I cup,
the video quickly cut to static.
Yes. So she at first was like, oh no, something's wrong. And then she's like, no, she's really good at what she does. She did this for dramatic effect or whatever. And so instead of waiting and seeing what's going to happen next, she just texted her friend and was like, hey, have a good night. Great job, whatever.
Yeah, but she didn't call.
No.
She never came home. Thousands of viewers across the world were the last to see her, but no one knows what happened to her. No one except for the Hallowpeen. Like, there's no way to maintain the spooky mood when you're using the word Hallowpeen.
That's a good point.
And the fact that like she continues to use the word peen just on its own elsewhere.
Yes.
Also makes it not sexy either.
Yeah. So, again, men that are at the party say the Hallowpeen comes and jacks you off at night, refusing to leave until your peen is as hollow as a soul. Mwahaha. And another one of the guys goes, I could get my dick wet tonight. Fuck it, I'm saying it. And starts to say ICUP. And this is when she tackles him. And he's screaming, she's scratching at his face. It takes 5 people to tear them apart, and then she takes off running toward the house. Now, I enjoy hosting a party. However, I don't think I'd be totally on board with hosting a party and then having someone I don't know that just attacked one of my friends running into my house. What's happening there?
Casey just doesn't do anything about this.
No,
And
she doesn't seem concerned that now there's a crazy
potentially
woman.
unstable stranger in her house.
Yes.
Yes. So Asha is kind of like, okay, I guess I will be the one to go after the crazy person.
Which that's me. I'm the
Yes.
person that's like, let me go make sure that they're okay.
So she heads inside, and as the door closes behind her, she hears someone joking, if iCup summons the Hallowpeen, what's next? Does typing 8008 into a device bring out the booby man? Which is objectively hilarious.
Yeah, it did make me laugh a little bit. Yes.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It is just funny.
So Asha shows up to the front porch and sees Claudia there, her shoulders shaking with sobs. And she's like, I'm not the best with big emotions. And I don't always say the right thing, but I did bring you beer. Here you go.
I like this. This feels very relatable. Like, we all struggle sometimes to know what to say to someone who is like crying.
Especially a stranger, someone you don't
Yeah.
know. Like, oh, sorry, my friend made fun of your story. Here's a beer.
Yeah, literally. She sits down beside her on the front porch, and it says, even as the world around us revels in the eerie excitement of the haunting night, the air between us is silent, enveloping the porch in a bubble of melancholy and discomfort. The distant sounds of the party, laughter, and music trail our way from the back of the house like a ghostly parade. Like, it's so good. And it says, I just want to get back to the party, but I feel bad for leaving Claudia alone with the 3 jack-o'-lanterns lining the steps as her only company. And this is where I was like, this cannot end well for us. Like, it just can't. Because Asha begins to absentmindedly pet the pumpkin beside her.
Yeah.
My fingers tracing its smooth surface. It's far more captivating than the empty bottom of my cup. Whoever carved this pumpkin did an incredible job giving it a wickedly handsome grin with enough charm that could easily fit on a movie poster. What?
That's a talented pumpkin carver.
Sure.
However, I can appreciate that it's not just the typical, like,
Sure.
you know, the square teeth or whatever.
Yes. But I'm having a hard time picturing it.
A handsome pumpkin.
Yeah. Yes, because she does eventually call it her pumpkin boyfriend, which
I mean,
weird.
that's great foreshadowing, though.
It is, for sure.
So they do say this town has so many legends that sometimes we forget why we follow the rules that we do. It doesn't help that it's been decades since the last incident. I think everyone writes it all off as superstition. And Claudia says the Hallowpeen isn't a superstition and I didn't make it up. Something happened to my friend Sam that night.
Mhm.
And then Asha says, have you ever tried to summon him yourself?
Which is an insane thing to suggest to a potentially insane person. Like, it would be an insane thing to suggest to a normal person suffering from normal trauma, like, your friend died bungee jumping. Have you ever tried bungee jumping yourself? Like, why would you ask that? Cruel and weird.
Yeah. So she goes, Claudia says, maybe I can't call him. I'm too scared and wouldn't be able to think straight if the Hallowpeen did show up. But maybe you can do it for me. Also, to have gone into this situation and like, I brought you a beer too. Can you summon the demon for me?
Right? Like, no good deed goes unpunished.
No, not at all. Claudia goes, yes, you'd be perfect for this. It's such a brilliant idea.
It's insane. This is insane. This is so insane.
And then she goes, oh my God, thank you so much for coming up with this plan. What?
Literally wild.
So she's like, no plan. There's no plan. What do I even do? I don't have candles or know what to do. And she goes, you'll be fine. Just spell out iCup 3 times and it shows up. It's
That's
like
insane.
bringing me back to, you know, sleepovers at 13 where you
Yes.
stand in the dark bathroom and say Bloody Mary and just freak yourselves out thinking that there's an extra head staring back at you in the mirror.
Correct. Yep.
Also, still kind of, that stuff still kind of freaks me out.
Me too. I don't like tempting fate. I don't know why. Like, I know it's not real. I know it's going to be fine. But
On the off chance that it's not.
right, why would I?
Nope.
No, just no. So unfortunately for Asha, despite living in a town that has a lot of rules around legends and something happened within living memory that led to this town having an understanding that the veil of sentience is thin, especially on Halloween, she is like, this is clearly gonna just be fine. It's gonna be fine. Why would it be fine? I don't know. But I loved this description. So Claudia guides her into the bathroom and we huddle together facing the mirror. While Claudia's smile is the brightest thing in this dimly lit room, my lips are firmly pressed together as though they are protesting their involvement in the wild idea. My eyebrows are so high, they create a ladder up my forehead, like my eyes are plotting an escape route out of my skull so they can't witness whatever horrors I bring to life.
I also have this highlighted and
It's
I like
incredible.
it. And as someone that when my eyebrows go up, I also get quite a few lines. No Botox over here. It made me laugh as well. But again, Holly Wilde has that way to go between really good prose and
Yes.
really awful puns. Two things can be true at once.
It's actually impressive. I just continue to be in awe.
So Claudia is like, okay, good luck. You ready? And then closes the door behind her and leaves her in this little bathroom by herself. And then she's just kind of sitting there staring at herself in the mirror. And Claudia goes, how's it going in there? And she's like, I haven't done it yet. So it says some bustling outside the door draws my attention away from the walls. I can hear Claudia telling someone that the bathroom's occupied, followed by some groaning. Fuck, I'm holding up the bathroom because a story that's in all likelihood a prank has me all freaked out. I might as well get this over with. With a deep quivering breath, I say the silly phrase that scares the shit out of me. I see you pee.
Insane. So she is thinking, I bet everyone is waiting outside. Like this is some twisted surprise party. They're likely hanging out on the other side of the door waiting for me while stifling their laughter. And so she's like, I'm going to say it real quick and then get out so that everyone can have their fun at my expense. And so she says it a third time. And this also spoke to me because I have often been the person who like walks into the bathroom and is like, I need to check behind the shower curtain. Right? It's like, I don't have a plan for what I would do if a serial killer were hiding behind the shower curtain, but I do need to check.
Well, but also I think some of my younger years of movie and television watching, it's not necessarily always a serial killer that I'm looking for, but like, is there a couple behind there trying to hide because they were just hooking up in the bathroom kind of thing? Like,
you're like, I'm here for the tea, and I'm like, I don't want to get murdered.
that tracks for both of us.
True. Devastatingly true. So Asha lunges forward and she rips back the curtain and prepares to meet the Hallowpeen. But she is greeted by an empty tub. And this, I think, also, like, it built up the suspense.
Yes.
It took a long time for us to get here, which is a choice when you've only got 100 pages to work with. But it did build up the suspense precipitously because she comes down from her adrenaline rush of checking the tub and then realizes she has to check the mirror. And it takes us like 4, maybe 5 paragraphs to finally check the mirror. And there's nothing there. It's fine.
So then she realizes, she's like, okay, fine, we're good. So she goes, okay, guys, nice one. I'm going to need a cup of beer after performing the silly eye cup ritual. She yells as she opens the door. Being alone in the bathroom was creepy enough, but not nearly as unnerving as the sight that greets me when I step into the hallway. Everything's the same. At least it looks the same, but my gut is screaming at me to turn back and run into the very room I was eager to escape. It takes a moment for me to process exactly why the vibe is off, but when I begin to notice the changes, the panic instantly rises within. There's nobody there. The house has been cleared out.
Music has stopped.
The music is stopped. And there's little things that she notices that you would only notice in yours or your best friend's home.
Yeah.
Like the couch is in the same place. The table is arranged with knickknacks and decorative books, only they aren't the ones on photography and architecture that Casey collects. Instead, they're eerie with black sprayed edges and moody cover art. Those are things that you would not notice if it was just some random party house.
Right. So she's starting to like understand that something is very wrong. And then we get a reference to the legend, the other one, the one that
The
their
other
entire town
legend,
is.
which we
Yes.
didn't get any reference to before this. And I was like, what the fuck is she talking about?
I have it highlighted for exactly that reason because, like, there's been a little bit of our town has legends. I thought the people of Hollow Springs would understand, like, blah, 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 blah. But, like, when we were talking about Halloween night and we were talking about the veil of sentience being in its thinnest, and we're talking about how this one feels different and it's a full moon, some mention of this legend, I think, would have been well placed.
Yes.
But instead, we don't get it until she's already up to her eyeballs in a completely different legend that her town knew nothing about until Claudia showed up, I guess.
Yeah. So she says the clock on the oven says it's only 10:30, which is too early for everyone to head home. Just to be safe, I dump the candy out of the dish on the counter. If some emergency pulled everyone away from the party, I'm not going to leave Casey with a bowl full of candy on Halloween night. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Come to find out that the other legend in town is that if your bowl is not empty by midnight on Halloween, the candy man will come. And man candy, not the candy man.
candy.
Man candy, which I didn't hate it.
Says, even though there's a vindictive part of me that thinks that these fuckheads deserve the wrath of man candy for putting me through this nightmare, I refuse to be a shitty friend. And like, I don't mind this as a world building technique. I just wish it had happened a little bit sooner because I loved being like, why can't the dish have candy in it? Why are we looking at the clock on the oven? Like, why are we worried about what time it is? Like, I like that. I like a question that gets answered later, but it feels weird to be in Ash's head and not have that thought earlier in the story.
Well, and it's weird because it has nothing to do with her ritual.
Yeah.
It has absolutely nothing to do with the Hallowpeen, and
we'll find out later that it does.
Yeah, but like it's just a completely different scenario. It just seemed out of place, and I would have liked some kind of reference before that.
Yeah, I agree.
So she's like, most people find it safer to stay indoors once midnight strikes, but if the clock on the oven was correct, there should still be stray trick-or-treaters.
It does continue that maybe there should at least be a few costumed people stumbling through the streets on the way home from a party. Not to mention, there should be people here at this party, which is correct. There were like a shitload of people, and she wasn't in the bathroom for that long. Like, clearly something is wrong.
Yes. So she goes to dump out the candy bowl that's on the front steps, and it's one of those bowls that like you reach into it and the hand goes to grab you, which makes her scream and then goes, of course, the candy dish is still working. How appropriate. And then she hears, it's not the only thing that worked tonight. Boo again.
How do you feel about this nickname?
I hate an immediate nickname. At least it's not a nickname in reference to any of her physical appearance. So, like, okay, Boo, yeah, it's Halloween. That's cute. I hate the nickname Boo. I don't know why. I don't like it.
And then the next line made it worse, for me at least, which is, the deep voice to my left makes my heart stop, but more frightening is how it also makes my pussy clench.
Is that more frightening?
No, that's not more frightening. It's confusing. I'll give you that.
So an open palm reaches down, extending an invitation to help. I fix my gaze on the hand, then slowly lift my eyes to the figure standing beside me. I won't bite. Let me help you up. Now, a deep voice saying this to me, I don't hate it.
Kay's on board.
I'm on board. I am not on board with like a lot of this whole section of the book. I think, again, it's the pumpkin thing for me.
The pumpkinness of it all?
The pumpkinness of it all. And because I keep thinking back to what the cover looks like and expecting that to be what it is when it's not.
Yeah,
Like
it
Holly
is not.
Wilde's covers for most of her books are phallic in some way, shape, or form. The cover of this book is like a penis, but the head of the penis is a jack-o'-lantern.
Yes.
That is not what's happening here. And
No.
I don't know if I would have preferred this monster penis to be like that instead.
No, I don't know.
Like, would I take a jack-o'-lantern penis over a jack-o'-lantern head?
I think that's better. Because, okay, I was immediately confused. Because when we're talking about monsters, sentient objects, I'm always like, okay, what does it look like? What are the logistics? And so it takes us several paragraphs to discover that they have bodies. And because, like, the way this is described is very confusing. She thinks, I seriously doubt he doesn't bite with teeth like those. Carved into a perpetual smile, he looks happy in the way a killer does after claiming another victim. His pointed teeth gleam as his glowing eyes bore into my fearful heart. I can't tear my gaze away from this monster. If the rough-hewn ridges on his face weren't enough to identify him, the ribbing running up and down his cock certainly are. So my first image was, this is a jack-o'-lantern with a penis, and that's it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I was
Yeah.
like, wait, no, he has hands. He has hands because he's helping her to her feet. So he has hands. Okay.
It
I
does
don't
get
understand.
better.
It does. But then it goes on. She says, you're not what I expected. And then thinks maybe that was too candid of me to say, but never would I have thought that the legend of Hallowpeen was talking about a massive jack-o'-lantern. Make
Why
that
not?
3 massive jack-o'-lanterns, as I noticed the other 2 pumpkin men lining the steps. Like, the jack-o'-lanterns should not be massive. They should be the same size.
Right. When I hear massive jack-o'-lantern, I'm thinking, it's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie
Yes!
Brown.
That's exactly what I was thinking. And I was like, I don't understand what's going on here.
Massive men with jack-o'-lantern heads, sure.
Right.
Massive jack-o'-lanterns, not so much. However, it does say, oh my gourd, the carved pumpkins lining the stairs have come to life.
Yes, I have that highlighted because I was like, oh no, it begins.
So it says, from head to toe, these men are raw muscle, deep paprika skin with softly ribbed flesh. They stand there completely naked, their full moons on display to the entire neighborhood.
We do get more descriptions, and it's horrifying.
Yeah, they're
Because
not.
it doesn't help.
No, it doesn't. Pulsing veins of green are
Yes.
raised just slightly from his copper skin, climbing up his massive arms like a vine on a trellis. Now, let me say, arm veins, I'm here for it.
Very hot. Very, very hot. Green on red skin, not so much.
Well, this one's copper, so a little bit more orange leaning now, because it says on copper skin. So we've gone away from the paprika
Okay.
and transitioned to copper. And
Still.
it says he's clearly strong as fuck with biceps the size of a small tree trunk, but the biggest part of him isn't his arms, it's his cock. I'm
This
sorry.
cannot be true.
What?
This cannot be true. Look, I'm sorry, Holly. Absolutely not.
Big muscles.
The size of a small tree trunk.
Big muscles. And you're saying that that's not the biggest part?
Nope.
No, thank you.
I'm out.
No.
I'm so out.
Yeah.
I'm so out.
No, thank
Okay, so his engorged gourd hoods,
you.
orange surface is slicked with froth.
Yeah, no, I didn't like this at all. Like, okay, I can understand where she's trying to go with like the pre-cum. I can get it. However, if it's frothy, that sounds like an infection.
Yes. Yes, it does. This sounds bad. Like a whipped topping on a pumpkin spice latte. Inch by inch, I stare in awe at his immeasurable length that dangles in front of me. The fluted base curves away from his body, jutting out like a butternut squash.
This, in terms of monster dick, I can get on board with.
I cannot because it says under a layer of pumpkin foreskin, I can see the tip of the stem wanting to poke out.
Yes, the attempt at monster dick was there. to make it different from just a human penis. The attempt was there. Was it well done? I'm still not sure.
I am sure, and no, it was not.
Yeah, the stem at the tip doesn't sound pleasurable.
No.
Like,
She later describes it as a hook.
Yeah, and, like, a stem of a pumpkin is, like, scratchy and hard. I don't want that rubbing on me and or going inside of me, thank you
No.
very much.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So the pumpkin man says, "My eyes are up here, boo."
And this is where we get the line. My cheeks redden even deeper as I pull my stare from his uncircumcised seed hole.
I hate it so much. I've been forced to read many things over the course of this podcast, and I think that might be the worst. They all still have triangle-shaped eye holes, by the
Yeah.
way.
Why? Like, you can make a jack-o'-lantern with way better eyes than the triangles. And if they worked so hard on the mouth to be different than the typical, why can't the eyes be a little more, I don't know, even make them like sinister or something,
Sure.
not just triangles?
Yes.
So she's rubbing her wrist because she did fall back when the candy dish jumped at her. And he says, "Are you hurt, pumpkin?" The nickname makes me laugh. Being called a pumpkin by an actual pumpkin is pretty amusing.
Sure.
Okay. Ooh, pumpkin. Get it?
We
I
get
don't
it.
like it. But
We
I
get it, Holly.
So she's like, "Where am I? What is this place?" And he says, "Didn't you summon us?" Although, did she summon them or did she transport herself into this new world? Because like they
Yes.
don't come into her world. She goes
They do
into
not.
theirs. And she's like, "I technically did, but it wasn't my idea and I only learned about it a few minutes before I said it." And he says, "You're either very brave or very naive to work with magic you don't know." Pumpkin number 1, the one holding my hand, says. And then we get the second pumpkin chimes in. "It's been a while since someone from your world comes to ours. What, 5 years now?" So we're getting that reference to Samantha, which she makes that connection as well.
And then pumpkin number 3 says, yes, we heard all about that one. She put up quite a fight. I wonder if you'll be as feisty as she is." That's fucked up. I don't like the sound of that.
I don't like the sound of that either. And it's not what ends up being the case. Like,
No.
because they talk about it being like pleasure like they've never known and all of that stuff. Like,
Yes.
it wasn't.
She didn't put up a fight.
No.
No. And it's literally just to keep this like spookiness a little bit longer. Like he just straight up lies here
Yeah.
for the vibes.
So she is still trying to figure out, is Samantha okay? And they say we have nothing to do with her. She came into this world through another portal and is now the responsibility of the Hallowpeens of that house, just like you belong to us. And she thinks, fuck, it is going to be hard to focus on finding her when I have a massive pumpkin pecker pushing up against me.
Holly, I don't like your words for penis.
No, I'm going to start to make a list.
Please.
This seems like an appropriate place to reference the penis flytrap that was brought up on the Smut Lovers Conference.
I forgot about this. Yes. I've never heard that one. This was a session during the Smut Lovers Conference where a couple was talking about their 24/7 free use relationship. It was basically like an AMA, and they were talking a little bit about like what gets them excited. And the guy referred to his own penis as a penis flytrap.
Yes. Yep.
I don't even have like a joke for that. I just don't know what to do with it.
And I looked at Elle and I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Might have been around the same time when you told me to control my face.
I think it was, actually. It was. And he said, fix your face.
See, we listen and we don't judge, but unfortunately, my face doesn't obey that inclination sometimes. I'm learning. I'm doing better.
That's all we can ask for is to work at it every day. So she's like, this isn't my house, though. And one of the pumpkins says, it doesn't matter where you live in your world. What matters is where you say the incantation. Your friend Samantha joined this world and is now living in that house with her Hallowpeen. Luckily for you, there are 3 of us here. I would say you picked the better portal. I mean, It's up for debate. So now we have, I'm acutely aware of how close 3 veggie hoods are to my body.
Oh,
Add that to the list.
no.
Mm-hmm.
So she asks, how do I get back to my own world? One of the pumpkins gets a name here. His name is Jax. And Jax says, do you really want to go back, pumpkin? And it says, my mouth dries out as all the moisture in my body floods between my thighs, which is a choice. But getting back is a bit complicated. It hasn't happened in a long time. And it says, despite the arousal gnawing at me, I know I have to stay strong and find a way out of this bizarre world. But I'm currently in a Hallowpeen sandwich, and all I can think about is how close their pumpkins are to my pie.
So I'm going to start a second list.
And pumpkin number 2 says, do you know man candy? And she thinks, of course I know man candy. Everyone in Hollow Springs is taught the legend from a young age, and every Halloween, the cautionary tale is shared with a mix of fear and fascination. Which, like, we could have started with the legend of man candy, much like we did in Pumpkin Smash when we started with the legend of the Phantom.
Yeah.
Then it made sense later on when we met the Phantom.
Yes. Like the first scary story that they were telling should have been about man candy.
Yes, especially if every Halloween the cautionary tale is shared.
Yes. Agreed.
So this is where we learn that at the stroke of midnight, if there is a single piece of candy left in the dish, man candy comes to give you a tricky treat of his own. It is unclear what the tricky treat is. Don't worry, we'll find out later, which I was not expecting at all.
It's not either. I wasn't expecting there to be like 2
Main
separate
characters.
stories that kind of merge together, which we will get soon.
Yes.
They say you can go home if someone invites man candy back into your realm, but no one's left candy out for him in a long time. And she starts to think that everyone in Hollow Springs works together to ensure all the candy dishes are emptied by the end of the night. Man candy hasn't been seen in decades, maybe even longer. The realization that this old chilling legend might now be my reality is overwhelming.
It says, emptiness shrouds my heart as every hope of escape dies within me. So this is why you're called Hallowpeens, I whimper, my voice thick with melancholy and strained by the emotions I'm struggling to suppress, because being here destroys everything inside and leaves you a shell of yourself.
Dark.
Dark, but also Hallowpeens?
Yeah, it's Hallow, not Hollow.
Not Hollow.
But we do keep kind of going back and forth between the two, which is a little confusing.
It is. And then the pumpkin says, are you saying I'm nothing but a shell of a man? Just because my guts have been ripped out doesn't mean I can't rearrange yours.
I liked that. I like that one. One of the other one goes, calm down, Gordy. She's just scared. So we've got Jax and Gordy so far. And she thinks I feel so selfish not even asking for their names and referring to them as pumpkins 1, 2, and 3. But in my defense, how was I supposed to know that sentient pumpkins would be more like people than like objects? Well, obviously, you don't read very many sentient romance novels.
Clearly.
So he says, all right, Pumpkin, I'll do my best to be more gentle. It's not something that comes naturally to me, but I'll make an effort for you. I still plan to rearrange your guts, though. I don't hate it. So she's like, okay, I probably should ask for the rest of their names, and says, what's your name? And they say, I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours, boo. And she says her name is Asha, which I believe this is the first time that we find out that that's her name.
The story started with her name at the top.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah, but yes, I was surprised to learn her name this far in also.
So we have Jax, Gordy, and Hal. And then Hal says, I'm Hal, but I can think of a few other things I'd love to hear you call me tonight. I mean, I'm okay with all of this.
She thinks, ignoring his flirtation, I try to get the conversation back on track. I need to figure out exactly what being here means for me, and it's clear their only plan is to fill me like a glass of pumpkin juice.
Is that
I don't
a thing?
Like it. No.
Do people drink pumpkin juice?
I don't think so.
Because I feel like I've heard this before. No?
I don't know that I've ever heard it, but maybe I don't read enough.
I doubt that. I really should be storming off to find Samantha and see if she can help me escape this nightmare town. But all I want to do is get back in the middle of their pumpkin patch and have them plow my field deep into the night.
So they suggest going inside. She says, "How do I know that I can trust you? I mean, after seducing me, you won't like eat me or anything." And Hal says, "Oh, pumpkin, I'm going to eat you as part of the seduction."
And this goes back to a couple weeks ago, enthusiastically wanting to go down on her. In
Oh,
my
yes.
book, even though he's a monster, that's a keeper.
I mean, I agree. However, given the fact that he has a face with teeth permanently carved into sharp points,
Yeah.
I don't think I want that anywhere near my field.
But also, like, again, the teeth thing, where's the tongue coming
We
from?
just have to pretend. Like, that's why it was hard, like, with the logistics.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, to be fair, no,
No, you don't want to be fair.
I don't want to be fair. No, I'm just remembering. For Pumpkin Smash,
Yeah.
he had a tongue. We didn't particularly like the description because it was a pulpy seeded
right. That's
something
true.
or other, but it was described. And then for riding the Headless Horseman, it was like a big point that they couldn't make out.
Right.
And the same goes for
Jack's head.
Jack's head. Thank
Yeah.
you. So, like, there was some concession made to the fact that we were dealing with a jack-o'-lantern head. And I feel like Holly Wilde was like, I'm built different. I just don't need to. I've decided I don't care. They are going to go down on her. They are going to make out filthily with her and with each other. And no, I will not give you any description as to how that's possible.
Yeah. It's like you had to just forget that their heads were pumpkins and think that they
Yes.
were men again because, yeah. Which, again, we know that in a I Choose, I am happy when they can entertain themselves or each other if they are not immediately part of the action.
And boy, oh boy, do they entertain each other.
They do, very much so.
What I thought was interesting here was we went right for her ass.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And not sure I'm on board with that, partially because it says textured tights are no match for his pointed pumpkin seed nails, and he rips a hole in the back to allow him easier access to me. I don't want anything pointy shoved up my ass.
Oh, well, apparently, though, Holly Wilde likes to make things go to a point because Poseidon's trident.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
Yeah. So it does say, slipping under my panties, he circles his thick finger around the tight rim of my hole before pressing it into me, parting the elastic band that has a 100% success rate on keeping things out. His rough finger tenderly dips inside of me as he tickles my velvety walls. Your face is great. I mean, the imagery is well done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm visualizing it. I don't like it.
I wish
It's
I
being
were.
done against my will. But it's the elastic band that has a 100% success rate on keeping things out. So, like, this is her first foray into
Yes.
any kind of ass play.
Uh-huh.
But she seems to enjoy it, so that's great.
She
Good for
does.
her.
She does. She absolutely does. And Jax suggests that everyone move inside so that the neighborhood doesn't see them enjoy their new human.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that each of these houses is outfitted with their own Hallowpeen?
That is kind of implied. It seems to be the case. The thing that I was confused about, Casey's house had 3 jack-o'-lanterns on the porch.
Yes.
And those 3 came to life as this set of Hallowpeens.
Yes.
And their house also has a keg in the backyard and snacks strewn over the counter.
Yeah.
And so it confuses me as to what the link is between Asha's world and the Hallowpeens world. Because, like, does that mean that the jack-o'-lanterns just appear in Halloween?
So the sentient veil is thin at this time. So perhaps they're always there because we learn that Samantha's been there for 5 years. So they're
Right.
always there, but the worlds are overlapping a little bit more around Halloween. And
Perhaps.
perhaps Casey is just drawn to putting
making
3
there
pumpkins
be
out
3.
without understanding why. Maybe that's just why she happened to have the 3,
Sure.
because there's a pull from the other realm.
I can get on board with this. That makes sense to me.
So it does say, knuckle deep in my ass. Hal rips his finger out with a quick pop. That's not safe.
Don't like
You're
it.
going to turn it inside out. That's not safe. It's possible. It's not crazy.
Where? I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't like it.
So Jack surprises her as he hoists her onto his back, piggyback style, and says, let's take her inside and show our new guest how we peen in Peentown.
I hate it. Peen in Peentown. You're
Like Halloween Town.
but worse. It's Dicktown.
I don't hate it.
I do. I absolutely do. So he carries her into the house. She's like, just don't take me to the bedroom. I don't want to fuck in my best friend's bed.
Great friend.
Great friend.
She wanted to make sure that the Candyman or Man Candy wasn't going to show up, and she doesn't want to
Defile
fuck on
her
bed.
friend's
Yeah.
bed. Yeah.
It's a good friend.
Getting triple teamed in a room that looks like hers is just too weird for me. Not that doing it in her living room is any better, but it also isn't the first time I've hooked up with someone on her couch. This is not an adult thing to occur.
Early 20s, though. I'm telling you.
I know. But again, she shouldn't be a homeowner if that's the case. I'm sorry.
Perhaps she invested well with her graduation money. I don't know.
Okay.
Or it doesn't say that she's a homeowner. Maybe she's renting this house.
Okay. You're right.
Possible.
Yeah. We'll go with that's possible.
So then she thinks, I'm surprisingly grateful I didn't portal here from my house. If this were some strange interdimensional version of where I live, I'd probably be more freaked out by subtle differences in my belongings, like finding almost but not quite right duplicates of my things. The thought of being surrounded by familiar yet wrong objects is far more unsettling if it belonged to me than this stuff that belongs to my bestie. However, there was a show where people were walked through their home, like they had to walk somebody through their home, and then the person asked them questions about things that they saw within the home, like whether it was art on the walls or like certain pillows or whatnot, or like books that they have. And you get so accustomed to things that are in your own home that you don't even realize what's there. Like a quote was said from something that was a quote that they would walk past every single day, and they didn't put 2 and 2 together that this person was saying a quote from their walls.
Couldn't be me.
True. Definitely could be me.
I'm not even being like
No.
self-aggrandizing. Like I swear to you, I'm built different.
Yeah, no, that's accurate. That's really funny, actually. So they sit her down on the couch and they set up a little nest.
Not before one of them calls her Gordas.
The puns are punning.
I had to say it out loud because I was like, what the fuck is this?
He was trying to say gorgeous.
I know.
Gorgeous. I mean, we're holiday pumpkins. Our only job is to set the mood for the season. So what makes you think we wouldn't set the mood for you too? Now, I can appreciate this. A man that's going to go to great lengths or even any length to set the mood beyond just like turning all of the lights off.
Yeah.
That's
Totally.
great. Great for her.
Mhm.
So they set a fire in the fireplace. They're putting blankets on the ground.
There's a record player. But what really catches my attention are my men. Towering over the room, their massive forms dominate the space. From each of them hangs one of the largest peens I've ever had the pleasure of laying my eyes on, swaying gently as they prepare a makeshift bed for us.
And then, standing over me, Jax pauses. But even though his movement stopped, no one told his 12-inch member to freeze. It keeps a steady rhythm like a pendulum as it ticks left, then right. As my eyes follow its steady motion, I feel hypnotized, fully lost in a tantalizing trance of forbidden longing. 12 inches, no thank you.
Fuck no.
Nope.
Fuck no. Absolutely not. I'm desperate to not enter one of these books and be confronted with the fact that this would hurt.
Not actually, I was going to say not to mention, but they don't ever try to put.
No.
Which
that
is,
would have been a bridge too far.
I can appreciate that they didn't
Yeah.
try. There was no anal for her. However, so there is more description, though. Don't you worry. All natural and homegrown. The bright orange surface shines in the firelight. But what I didn't see before are the greenish veins pulsing and filling his cock as his arousal grows. Meaty and vine-like. The hint of a stem pokes from his foreskin. The more engorged he becomes. It looks like a clawed hook beckoning me to sink down and let the grooved edge lock into me. And again, at the very tip runs a frothy whip that sends tingles to my tongue as I long to lick it off like he's a stick of candy. This is foreshadowing, stick of candy. However,
I can't even appreciate it.
because of the frothy whip. Again, if it is frothy,
something is wrong.
Yes, that's an infection. And you shouldn't want to lick it because I have a feeling that that will be worse than strep throat for you, my sister.
I hate it so much.
Now, he grabs a blanket from behind her and turns and says his cock disappears from my view, but I'm not too pressed about it since I catch my first full glimpse of his backside. My gaze lingers on his rounded double pumpkin ass before traveling up to his wide, broad shoulders. Now, I can appreciate this. I like a good butt on a man.
Oh, same. Love a good butt.
So I can appreciate it.
I'm here for it. I'm on board. So they put out a lavish spread of food in the middle of the floor, which left me questioning where the sex was going to happen.
Again, though, I love a charcuterie board, and I love a man that's going to prepare to pleasure me both body and belly.
They invite her into their little nest, and Jax places a candy on his own tongue and leans in and feeds the chocolate to Hal with a deeply erotic kiss. So we are starting off strong with this is not just going to be we're all focused on Asha.
Which I don't mind it. I appreciate that.
Here for it, frankly. Like the thought of 3 men all focused on me, too much pressure. But if everyone's going to be having fun at the same time, I'm a little less concerned.
So Gordy says, you look like you want to be that candy, Asha. Do you want us to devour you like the treat you are?
I don't mind that.
Nope. So they strip her, and in record time, my 3 monsters have peeled every layer of clothing off me like I'm a sweet potato, which I don't understand.
No, I didn't like that either. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense.
A sweet potato has 1 layer on the outside. That's it.
And it's its skin. Like what? You want to be de-skinned? No. I also didn't like this, which was Jax pulls apart my thighs like he's trying to pry apart a wishbone. All I can think of with a wishbone is that it snaps, which is not the imagery that I want in my erotica, frankly.
Because he wants to have a taste. And then says, oh, pumpkin, you taste as beautiful as you look. Hal, come try our girl. So now this, again, the logistics of it, both of their heads are down there, slurping the tender bundle of nerves into his mouth. He sucks
Do not
on
like
me
slurping.
Like he's trying to milk my mound. And
do
fuck
not
me,
like milk my
it's
mound.
Working. But both of their heads are down there.
And they're pumpkins. That's too much. How? They're not gonna fit.
Yeah.
And pumpkins are round. So like if you're thinking about a human face, you can like angle your faces together at an angle where you could both fit in there. It would be still very difficult logistics wise, but it could work.
Yes.
With 2 round pumpkin heads, they can't both be eating you out. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Face the truth.
She would have to be very flexible. She's like doing the splits.
Yes.
And even then, only one could be really giving her the attention that she deserves at one time.
Correct.
So they're like making out down there while they're like,
Also eating her out.
yeah.
Huh?
And then Hal says to Jax, finger her precious cunt. Without missing a beat, he obeys the order. Pressing 2 fingers into my opening, he scoops like he's expertly de-seeding me. That's worse than the uncircumcised seed hole.
Oh my God, I hate it so much.
Yeah. So then Hal is pushing Jack's face even deeper into my knee, says, I'm not going to let you come up for air until she's come all over your pretty pumpkin face. Then someone pinches her nipple like he's sealing a pie crust edge, which, again, I don't love it, but the imagery there is like you can picture it.
Sure.
She's good at what she does, even though it makes us real uncomfy.
Yes. I mean, correct. Holly Wilde is masterful.
Yes.
And I hate it so much.
So Gordy gives her a blackberry from the spread of food and places it on her tongue. The juice from the berry squirts in my mouth as I bite down. The sensual experience of eating while being eaten makes me wonder why I've never lived this deliciously before. I don't hate that. That sounds great.
No, I don't either. Yep. Very, very decadent. I thought the fruit was succulent, but his pumpkin mouth is even better than any seasonal cuisine imaginable. And then it says, I don't even notice that Gordy put a raspberry on my nipple until the bitter cold sinks into my skin. The sight of it resting on my curves like a winter hat for my breasts is simultaneously hilarious and erotic.
True. Like, she's not wrong. That is hilarious if you're thinking about it as a winter hat for your breasts.
I agree. I still don't like it.
Yeah.
Mostly because, like, it is funny, but I feel like, unlike SPF me, there is smut here that smuts.
Yes.
I don't feel like during any part of SPF me, I was on board for the eroticness of it. Like, it
Yeah.
was just funny the whole way through.
Yes.
And this one, it has moments where it's actually erotic. And so the funny parts are so jarring and throw me out of it so violently that it just doesn't fit for me, I think is
Yeah.
why I'm struggling.
So what I didn't realize is that she's standing through all of this.
Yes.
So also those 2 pumpkin heads.
She can't be doing the splits.
No, she can't. Like, it would be
I
more
forgot she was
reasonable
standing.
if she was like on her back, legs spread, whatever. But no, she's standing because it says, like leaping into a pile of raked leaves, I fall into the lustful cocoon of my orgasm. Great writing. Love that.
Yes.
Well, that and I actually fall when my legs give out from under me. Gordy is there right away, catching me in his arms so quickly that he looks like a dancer bending me backwards in a dip.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, she was standing this whole time.
So we get Gordy kisses her with his lips still attached to my cunt. Jax also lowers himself to the rug as Gordy gently lays me down. How do we have lips on these pumpkins?
Yeah, no, I was like, I have other questions, but I'm so frozen by that one. I don't know. No. So they are basically like, oh, she's ready for us. And Jax breaks the kiss to clamber over and lay down by my side, tilting me so that my ass presses against his colossal body. He startles me with a celebratory slap that sings throughout the room. Pleasure and pain is the trick-or-treat way, and I'm surprised to find myself ready for both. I don't mind this.
No. But
This is fun.
also,
Uh-oh.
I was trying to remember when we were talking about the 100% success rate at keeping things out.
Uh-huh.
Because it does say I've dabbled in some kinky things before, bound by fuzzy handcuffs, worn an anal plug with a fluffy tail, and enjoyed some light spanking.
If you've worn an anal plug, then it does not have a 100% success rate.
Mm-hmm.
What a massive plot hole. Holly, you should be ashamed of yourself. You're so right.
So she starts to...
God.
She reaches for Gordy.
Uh-huh.
as she touches his pumpkin hood.
Taking my time as I trace each and every vein that lines his member, I work up and down his ridges like I'm moving through a corn maze. I do not like that.
I wrap my palm around him and start to jerk my jack-o'-lantern.
Okay. And then he says, such luscious lips. I can't wait to see how they feel wrapped around the tip of my cock. And it says, I've felt my taste buds water for many things in my life, like cheesecake, really good pad see-ew, and occasionally I'll salivate for a fine wine. But never have I drooled at the thought of deep-throating a 12-incher. I mean, yeah, because that sounds fucking miserable. A dribble of drool trickles down my chin in anticipation.
Which, I mean, I guess
I'm
that's
so
great that
Glad you're excited.
she's got enough saliva to make things a little easier. That's great. I'm happy for all of them. He says, it looks like you're ready for a taste. Your mouth's watering for some dick almost as much as your sopping cunt. Didn't love it.
It also says he roars
Yes.
that line.
My only answer to him is the wet smacking of my lips as I suction around his butternut balls.
Plump like acorns, my tongue lazily rolls them around my mouth. I've always been a coffee girl, but being teabagged like this is more electrifying than any seasonal latte.
Masterful.
I can't. It's so descriptive. It's so
very descriptive, and it's descriptive in a way that makes you question whether or not you like autumn anymore.
Yeah. That is exactly correct.
Juicy kisses fill the night as I seduce every inch of his generous gourd. Jax lays on his back, gets her on top of him.
With her back to his face and her legs open wide for Hal's visual enjoyment.
There's no strain from his muscles as he suspends me over him. Gordy stands towering to my right, bending just enough so his cock lines up with my flushed face. Again, like that there's no straining there to...
Of course.
We know, like, she feels small.
Yeah, of course.
And Hal says, fuck Asha, you're even more beautiful than I could have imagined. And she thinks, my heart feels the depth of his emotions, and I arch slightly to show him I'm all theirs. It's been 15 minutes? Yeah, 20 minutes. Your heart should not be feeling anything.
No, all the moisture in your body is in your pussy right now. I thought we'd discuss.
Yeah.
There's nothing left to be feeling emotions. But Gordy, being the consent king that he is, says, tell me you want this, boo. Beg me for this Hallowpeen. It says, you know what I ought to want, and it isn't Hallowpeen. I came here to find another person, and I should be begging to get back home. But what I found instead was the chance to have the ultimate pumpkin spice experience. 3 horny and attractive men of legend who only want me. If I never go home, I think I'll be just fine. Girl, you don't even know if the dick's good enough yet.
That's true. However, they've already made her orgasm once.
That's true. Fair enough.
She's halfway there.
So she tells them, I need you to take me. I need you to make me yours and claim me like a ghost takes hold of a haunted house. Sure. I didn't know I needed this, but now that you're here, the thought of being pleasured by pumpkins is all I can think about. Please, I'm aching for your Hallowpeen. Like Halloween decorations hitting the shelves in July, they don't make me wait any longer.
It's accurate.
I will say I walked past a Target yesterday.
Christmas is already up.
Christmas is already up.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a new addition to the list. Perched over Jax's pumpkin pleasure pole.
Pumpkin pleasure pole. Okay.
My pussy drips, coating the tip like butter so my body can be stuffed like a turkey. A little early for the Thanksgiving puns.
Yeah.
Frankly.
Yes, it was a little bit out of season, I suppose. But then we get reference to the strange stem. It's hard and rough, creating a delicious friction against my bundle of nerves. Still sensitive from his tongue play, the sensation makes me shake uncontrollably, my hips bucking to find freedom from the intensity. Now, that feeling is realistic, but also hard and rough friction. No, thank you.
No, I don't want that.
No.
No, thank you. This is almost level 5 because logistics are
Questionable.
questionable. Because it says there's something so incredible about that first stretch with a lover, but having that happen to both my mouth and between my legs at the same time is transcendental. Holding me and thrusting into me, I relax to the way these gourds invade my garden. So this is the first time we get penetration.
Yes.
But it's unclear that, that's what's happening. It took me a couple of rereads to understand that she's sucking a cock and getting penetrated at the same time. And, usually you'd, have, a moment to be like, oh, I don't even know which one's cock this is.
Yeah, I don't know who's doing what. She's giving Gordy head, and it's Jax that she's
being penetrated
by, because then we get out of the corner of my eye, I watch Hal match their pumps stroke for stroke. I did like the way that this was written. It says the tears streaming from my eyes blur my vision, painting him like an erotic watercolor. Again, she's got this incredible prose, and then things like pumpkin pleasure pull.
Yep. As if he can read my thoughts, Hal saunters over and kneels before me. He trails kisses down to her breasts. Pinching my cherry peaks, he suckles me like he's bobbing for apples.
Nope. So then Hal says to Jax, think you can handle me, pumpkin. His fingers are priming Jax's puckered opening while his flat palm rubs against my clit. Pulling back from us, he reaches down beside one of the throw pillows and grabs a small bottle of lube. It's good to see preparation is important in this realm, even if it's not my ass about to be prodded. I knew that you would truly appreciate that little ad in there.
I did appreciate that. No notes. Good job, Holly. Moving right along.
The dirty talk was not great.
Yeah.
One of them says to her, just like that, you're so fucking yummy, Asha. You take this cock so well, boo. I don't like it.
No.
He plummets his pumpkin pecker
harder and faster, chasing that wave until the moment finally arrives. An explosion of frothy sweetness, hints of nutmeg and cinnamon mixed with toasted pumpkin pours from his cock as I'm filled with his pumpkin seed. Literally, I realize. As I drink down every drop, I notice that his cum is made of pumpkin seeds the size of mini chocolate chips. They are easy to swallow down by the mouthful thanks to the pool of spiced milk like a pumpkin latte that they swim in.
No.
See, and I blame you for this because you're the one who wants the full sensory experience.
I do, but I don't
Here
want,
we are, Kay.
I don't want come with things the size of mini chocolate chips in it. Also, it says, wiping my chin, I try to find more to get another taste, but I'm a champ when it comes to swallowing, and there isn't a single drop of him left over. How did you know that what you were swallowing was pumpkin seeds? Because if you're a pro, you are not
in the back of your throat.
It's in the back of your throat. You are not like...
It's not like you're swishing it around your mouth to feel it with your tongue.
Exactly. Exactly. My thoughts.
Same page.
Exactly.
Same page. The slick fapping of Hal's hand on his engorged gourd hood creates a beautiful symphony with the crackling fire, and I know that the real treat is about to begin. Scooting my body up slightly, Jax instructs me to take over and ride his decadent dick while he spreads his knees open to make room for Hal. I move slowly, making sure not to jostle Jax too much as Hal lines his cock up like a hot dog between plump pumpkin buns.
I mean, it's fine. It says, the four of us have grown needy, craving the touch and the taste of everyone else. It's a tangle of tongues and limbs as we lick, kiss, and fuck each other into the sweetest oblivion. Now, this is where we get that, potential for a level 5.
Yeah.
But there's too much extra plot in the book in order for it to truly be a level 5.
Yeah, it doesn't quite cross that threshold.
Again, the dirty talk. You ready to take this load? I'm gonna pump my seed up in your guts so fucking hard you'll swear you were born a pumpkin too. And she
No,
thinks,
thank you.
fuck me, his filthy words have me dribbling on Jax's balls so hard it's like I'm trying out for the basketball team.
Holly, why do you do this to me?
They take things up a notch. It says, I'm no stranger to orgasms. I even have toys that would make a porn star blush. But what these three jack-o'-lanterns do to me is the stuff of legend. The ground shakes beneath us as we explode together. Hal plowing Jack, Jack sewing me, and Gordy holding me up as I quiver. For a moment, I'm lost to the chaos, blissfully unaware of the frames falling from the walls. That is until one crashes down beside Jack's head. She doesn't know what's going on. She goes, holy shit, did we just shake the house with our orgasm? And they say, hang on to me, don't let go no matter what happens. And she thinks, but it's too late. I struggle to wrap my arms around any of my three lovers, but my limbs are too heavy and refuse to follow directions. The last thing I see before it all fades to black is the clock striking midnight. Then we get part 2, and I was like, what the fuck is going to happen now?
Yes. The jump scare of turning the page and seeing part 2 was like, what story am I in? Like, we should be heading into the epilogue of 1 year later and she's pregnant.
With little mini pumpkins.
Correct. But no, now we have Casey.
So Casey is talking to Claudia, who's again crying after sending Asha into the bathroom to perform the eye cup ritual. And she's saying to Casey, look, she was in there just a minute ago. The Hallowpeen took her just like they took my friend 5 years ago. And she's realizing that, like, it's getting late. It's almost midnight. People are still lingering. She's like, I don't know what to do. Again, people don't know what to do with this crying girl.
Yep.
Drunk crying girl is also, again, very college.
Yes.
So she goes, realizing that this woman won't leave until I make her, I decide to do something that might be seen as unkind. Handing her a piece of candy from the candy dish, I say, even if this Hallowpeen did take her, no one's going to be able to help her if man candy comes around. So do me a favor and help pass out the candy from the dish so everyone can go home. And then Claudia yells, all right, everybody, we need to get out of here. It's almost midnight.
Yeah. Which is like, these people suck.
Yeah.
Like, given the fact that there's this known rule, right, of don't leave candy in the bowl. And so everybody leaves and she turns back into the house. 11:59 still sits displayed on the oven as though time cemented itself in order to save me from the legend of man candy. Dashing through the house, I slam open the front door and stare at the eerie mechanical hand looming over the bright orange bowl. Sitting in the bottom is a single piece of wrapped chocolate. Like, your friends suck.
Yes. So, like, they left a single piece of candy in the bowl at the front of the house. Although someone did clean up a little bit in terms of, like, picking up plates and cups and whatnot. So, again, a little better than a typical party.
Sure, but like between trash and potential monsters showing up at your door, have some priorities.
Yes. So she goes to grab that thinking like hopefully it's still 11:59, forgets that the bowl has the mechanical hand, which freaks her out. And then she goes, fuck Casey, just get this over with. She hears a voice that says, did someone say fuck Casey? Because that does sound like a treat. And basically she pulls man candy out of this bowl like it's a Mary Poppins bag or something.
Correct. Yes. But the bowl stays on him.
Yeah, like a skirt.
Like a skirt.
Again, Holly Wilde likes to make her men wear skirts, just like the tentacle skirt of Poseidon.
The tentacle tutu. Grabbing me around my shoulders, a handsome man made of candy crawls out of the bowl and steps onto my front porch. How is he handsome?
Because he's made out of candy. Yes. This is another one like bagged by the groceries.
Yeah.
Man candy is quite literally made out of pieces of candy.
Yes. He has bright green gumdrops for eyes.
I love a green-eyed man.
It says, that explains where the name comes from. He's candy, he's a dude, so man candy it is. That, and honestly, he's really hot. A piece of eye candy for sure. Clearly, the fearsome legend was passed down by upset men who didn't like their girlfriends and wives hooking up with this caramelicious hunk.
Mood.
Yeah. Yes,
Leave
history
it to
is written
men
by
to
men.
leave it to men to make up a story to make something that they don't understand scary.
So, Man Candy says, trick or treat, baby girl. How do you feel about baby girl?
I liked it. I liked it. As much as I was like, I didn't really love the Hallowpeens, even though I love a white shoes. I'm liking Man Candy.
Yeah, it's clear that you have a preference.
Yeah.
This was an interesting choice because I feel like going from polyamory to single, very sweet monogamy is a weird choice.
It's not very sweet. He ties her up.
Yeah, but it's shibari. Like, it's meant to be slow and sensual, and like, he's still actually quite sweet with her.
Yeah.
And it feels like these were out of order. There's nowhere to go from a foursome where they're all fucking each other
Yeah.
to just a man and a woman by themselves. It's a bit of a come down.
I see all of this smutted so much more for me
I agree that the smuts more.
that I was like, okay, no, like it got me back into the story again because I was kind of like struggling through that first part.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to lie. And then when we got to this, I was like, oh, okay, I'm back into it.
Huh? Yeah.
So,
Okay. All right.
So she says, I'm going to go with a treat. And he says, that's my girl. Scooping me up into his arms like I'm an ice cream, he waltzes through my house and goes straight to my bedroom. I have no option but to hold him tight around his sticky, dark neck. I didn't love that. Why is it?
No.
I mean, I get why it's sticky because it's candy, but like.
Yeah, well, because it says pressing myself closer to his chest, I'm cradled against a mix of rainbow hard candies speckled in rows that make up his impeccable abs and pecs. The arms steadily holding me are made from ropes of licorice, same with his legs. The cords of red and black candy sculpt his physique like the bands of muscles and sinew of a bodybuilder.
I didn't hate it.
I'm okay with it. I just don't like that it's sticky.
Just his neck is sticky.
No, the whole thing is sticky. He's made of licorice.
Licorice isn't sticky.
It is gonna be when it gets warm.
Well, yeah, when it gets wet. That's true.
And the whole thing is she's gonna get wet. That's kind of the whole point.
So they go to the bedroom and he says, this is your last chance, Sugar. You sure you want a treat? I prefer Sugar as a nickname over Boo or Pumpkin. So I didn't hate that. I read it in like a Southern accent. I like that too. So, I mean, all of it worked for me. And he says, I should warn you, though I'm sweet, I don't do things sweetly.
He asks his question with a twinkle of mischief in his white and perfect smile made of squares of gum. There's something strangely bewitching about him, and I speak without even realizing that words are tumbling from my mouth. I want your treat. So we're fully consenting here.
Yes, we love that. His message about not doing things sweetly becomes clear when he pulls taffy out of thin air and stretches it to make a rope. Long and thin, he carefully places the length behind my neck, measuring the ends to make sure they're uniform. 3 dainty knots are placed along my torso, with one above my breasts, one between them, and the last one just under the curve of my tits. With precision, he knocks my legs wider and loops the rope between my legs. Bringing it up and around, he takes his time knotting and crossing the taffy to make intricate shibari designs. I liked all of this. Standing back and admiring his work, he paces around the bed, moving back and forth like an animal assessing his prey. It all worked. It was all good for me. I liked this whole scene. However, she does say, if anyone could make me come on demand, I have a feeling it's him. And we know how I feel about that.
Yep. And we know how I feel about this, because with a wave of his hand, he pulls one of those giant lollipops out of the air. With a flick of his wrist, the lollipop starts to spin and whir, emitting a faint fuzzy sound as man candy finds the speed he likes.
Because I knew that you were gonna hate this so much, and I know
Go
that
on.
you're gonna hate it even more. It's gonna get worse.
It's going to get so much worse, listeners.
But if you can take away the fact that it's candy, so it's made of sugar, all of this is great. Are you kidding?
I know, but the problem is that then he uses it like a vibrator, and we specifically call out that as it gets used, the gush of anticipation starts to wet the lollipop, the sugary swirl of colors melting from my liquid heat. It's gonna get smaller
Yep.
because it's melting in her pussy.
So it does say I lose track of time, but I keep count of how many orgasms he brings me to the brink of. 30. This is some serious edging.
I don't
30
believe this
fucking
is
times
possible.
this monster has built up the tension in my body until I nearly burst, only to drag the sensation away at the last minute. I
Yes.
watch the confection shrink the longer it stays between my legs.
He also says that it looks like you like the way I touch your jelly bean.
Oh, yeah. He calls her clit a jelly bean.
Uh-huh.
But she doesn't love it either. She says, I
Yes.
don't know how I feel about my clit being referred to as a jelly bean, but I don't have much time to ponder because he deftly reaches between my thighs and rips a giant hole in the crotch of my fishnets, slips my undies to the side, and presses a toy directly on my aching mound.
The lollipop is nearly gone. Only a small, lopsided oval remains on the stick. Man candy glides it inside of me, fucking me with his candy contraption.
All right, go off, Elle.
Don't put sugar up there. Do you want a yeast infection? Do you want to be in pain for the next 3 to 4 weeks? Like, this is insane. No.
I have it highlighted because I knew you were going to get so worked up about it.
She calls it her sugar-coated pussy.
Yep.
That's it, my treat. You take this so well. His breath is hot against my mound. I didn't even realize he dipped his face down between my thighs until he spoke. Don't mind that he has a forked tongue.
Yeah.
Very on board with the forked tongue. Excellent choice. I'm here for it. However, I don't like that there is a ferocity with the way he swirls my sugar snatch. Add it to the list, and please note my dissatisfaction.
Add it to the list and never say it again.
He says, I like having my dessert first while wiping the fusion of fructose and fluids from his mouth.
I mean,
No.
it's yeah, no, it wasn't great. So he says, I imagine you must be a little hungry after all that too. Here, let me help. And he encourages her to eat the rope of licorice that had bound her to the bedpost. I hate licorice. Like this, I was like, oh, black licorice. Gross. Absolutely not. And that is what it is. I like a Twizzler, but black licorice, no. I like my candy sweet. This is not that to me.
So she asks, aren't you afraid I'll just run away once I eat myself free? And he replies, no, I don't think I am. I mean, if I really wanted to keep you close, there's no way you could escape me. Honestly, I only tied you up because I had to fulfill your request for a treat. And she says, what do you mean by my request? I didn't ask you to be here. And he says, of course you did. You left me candy, so I came to you. He notes my surprise and continues, the request for me to arrive in your town as dictated by the original settlers is the offering of a morsel on a platter at midnight on Halloween. Do they not teach you the sentient ways? And she says, what I've been told is never to leave candy in a bowl because, well, no one wants to summon you. And it says the pain in his eyes makes me feel guilty for sharing how the town warns everyone away from him.
I mean, you feel bad.
Yeah, because he says, oh, the sound is so quiet I barely hear him speak. His hand drops dejectedly from my heat. Reaching down to my foot, he tears a sizable portion of rope and starts chewing while reflecting on my revelation.
Is that cannibalism?
I don't know. It's
Because
stress eating.
his muscles are made out of
Oh, God, you're right.
licorice. His arms and legs are made out of licorice.
Does that mean that he tied her up with muscle sinew?
Gross.
Right?
All of it's kind of gross.
No, we shouldn't.
No.
There are times when we should stop digging.
But this is one of those times.
This is one of those times.
So she says, look, I'm sure it was different long ago. Somehow the legend changed. And to be honest, we really aren't taught a lot about you. And he says, you didn't leave me candy, did you? And she says, I was late emptying my bowl.
So he leaves. He goes to leave. He says, well, I guess I fulfilled my duties here, so I'll be off now. I hope you have a jolly Halloween, Casey.
Yeah. Your heart breaks a little bit for
A
man
little
candy.
bit, yes. And so does Casey's, because it says the ache in his words breaks my heart. I wish I could take this taffy wound around me and use it to mend the cracks forming in his spirit. The doorknob turns without him using his hands. The hinges creak ominously as the door opens, punctuating the haunting emptiness that looms as I watch him walk out of my life forever.
Again with just after sex
Huh.
and being like, he walked out of my life forever. What? These instant connections. We talked about limerence. That's where we're at again.
Once again.
So she somehow manages to get all of her bindings undone and goes, wait, this isn't right. And he says, no, really, it's fine. I fulfilled my promise, so I'm free to go now. And she says, see, that's just it. I don't know what that promise even is. Won't you tell me why people used to leave you an offering of candy? Well, because he's really good at what he does. And the word got around. Now, the question is, how does he choose which one he goes to? Like, if people were all leaving him candy out, does he, like, make his way around the neighborhood? Or is it just
Santa
like...
Claus?
Candy Claus? So she wants to know where it all stems from. He says, I'll tell you anything you want to know. And his minty breath, his cinnamon lips, now I know why it felt so tingly when he did things to me with his forked tongue. Ugh. Menthol should not ever be, and cinnamon should not ever be down there either.
No. It's gonna get worse.
So they kiss.
And then he asks if she wants this. Again, a consent king.
She says, my loins scream out a resounding yes, but the fear of this beast is so deeply ingrained that I hesitate. I mean, that's realistic.
Reasonable?
Yeah.
Yep.
Can I really fuck the monster I've run from my entire life? You already did. Actually, no, she didn't. He made her come with the lollipop.
Yeah, and his tongue. So she says, yes, I want this. He rips the dress from her body and says, oh, aren't you the most tempting toy in the box? Fuck, you are delicious. And then looping his thumbs under the band of his skirt, he drags the bowl, but he drags the orange shield down slowly. Inch by glorious inch, his cock comes into view. My mouth waters at the sight of his candy hood, the tip of his jawbreaker popping free, right as Man Candy drops his skirt. He's rock hard for me, literally because his cock is made of crystallized sugar.
Yeah.
And you're happy that we're here?
Yeah.
You like the twist that this has taken?
Mostly I'm happy because I knew how this was going to affect you.
He strokes his hot pink sugar stick as he climbs back onto the bed. The way the edges jut out in every direction like a geode has me anticipating the way he's about to excavate my cave.
Yeah, no, I don't like that at all. I'm picturing that rock candy on a stick. That's what that is.
Yes, rough and sharp.
No, you don't want, that's going to cut you all up inside. And then you've got the sugar that's going to breed bacteria and infection.
No.
So,
do not stick rock candy up your pussy. I don't care if it's wrapped.
Which he does. So a thin film of plastic is pulled from some dimensional pocket he has access to. I make a note to ask him how his magic works, but I can find out later. Right now, my kitty is practically drooling while Man Candy wraps his morsel, and she says, I didn't think you would care about health and safety considering what you are.
I'm sorry, you just breezed past my kitty is
I have a
practically
friend that
drooling.
says that. It did not even. I have a friend that calls it that.
I've never been more horrified.
She calls a gynecologist the cat doctor. So it wasn't new to me. Anyway, this is unique though, because we don't typically get condoms in a
No.
romance novel.
We don't. But boy, are we going to find out why. It's horrifying. It's absolutely horrifying. Ahem. That actually made me choke. So they make out, and then it says, look at me while I part your pretty cunt. I couldn't look away even if I wanted to. My eyes refused to blink as the ribbed candy cock sheathes itself into my bubbling cauldron.
Yes, I also did not like that. We are going away from the candy puns and back to Halloween. Why is it bubbling?
Infection from all of the sugar, surely.
The infection has already started.
Correct. It says his balls bump against me, the massive jaw breakers gobsmacking my ass with each pump. Whoever said candy is bad for the body clearly never hooked up with a candy monster. He feels so good. The only cavity he's guilty of is the one he's thrusting his cock into.
She also says he's going to rot way more than my teeth if he keeps this up. Again, because she's going to have an infection. Oh, boy. He tells her to roll over, calls her beautiful, and I preen under his praise, sinking my chest deeper against the mattress and bolstering my hips a little higher. The ropes dig into my shoulders slightly, and the loop between my thighs spreads my lips open like an invitation. Luckily for me, my candy monster's dick RSVPs yes, his rock-hard cock starting the party in my pussy once more.
I have been brought along against my will.
You signed up for this. He does say, still think I'm bad for you. And she goes, you feel good, but that doesn't make you good for me. Truth.
True. And it's good to keep that in mind while he's fucking you.
Yes. Yeah, that's a great point. She starts to touch herself. They're both getting close to climax.
My fingers find their rhythm, swirling like they are tracing a peppermint pattern on my taut sugar plum. I'm fully undone, my walls gripping and clenching, practically milking his cum as he stays buried inside. We know how you feel about milking. As he dumps his load, I am suddenly grateful for the wrapper around his cock. More and more spills out as he rests inside of me. It's so heavy, like someone shoved a to-go bag in my snatch, filled with a combo meal and a large drink.
But it gets better.
Worse.
She asks, what's next? Can you stay here? He says, I can do whatever you want me to. You're the one who controls my world. Whatever my sweetheart wishes is my command. And she says, why haven't you stayed before? And he says, no one has invited me to stay. So this he's not a fuckboy. He wants a relationship. And everybody else has sent him on his way.
So it says, when your world found out about the existence of mine, they kept getting stuck on the other side of the portal. I became a fairy of sorts, a traveler between the worlds that can bring people back home. The sentience on the other side of the veil slowly started following me into this world, and it was around then that people stopped performing the ritual to go to Hallowpeen. So with less people heading to the sentient realm, there wasn't much reason to call you back here. But that doesn't explain why we were warned to keep away from you, and it certainly doesn't fill me in on why you tied me up and edged me until I could barely breathe with your magical lollipop. True.
But
it turns out that it's payment. He says, do you think I do all this work for free? My payment is a trick or a treat. You get to decide what it's worth to come home. And she says, but I'm home, so I didn't have to pay you. I just got a treat for no reason. And then he goes, weren't you paying for the two stuck on the other side? And it says, my heart skips a beat and two names pop into my mind. Samantha and Asha.
So we're now in part 3.
I will remind you that this book is only 100 pages long.
Yes, we are on page 84. Part 3 is quick. And she says, it's hard to leave his arms, but if I don't clean up this sticky mess, I'll probably pay for it in the morning and 4 weeks after.
To be clear, though, the damage is already done. There's sugar inside of your pussy. You cannot fix this now.
Can't come back from that. So the light's on in the bathroom, and she's like, oh, great, I left the light on. That's good for me. And then she hears a noise behind the door, and her hand, now frozen on the knob, trembles with fear.
But as she's about to turn and run back to her monster, she recognizes the voice coming from the bathroom. Forgetting that I'm in ripped fishnets and a candy shibari, I burst into the bathroom to find my bestie.
And Asha says, damn, girl, you get this dressed up for me? She shimmies her tits playfully against mine as she teases. This is a close friendship.
That is a close friendship. Also, like, they're both fully naked because Asha was stripped.
Yep. Again, close friendship. So then she realizes that they aren't alone, and there's another woman, strikingly beautiful and fits the description Claudia had shared earlier. You must be Samantha. Your friend Claudia told us all about you. Casey says she's not here. She's probably home by now, but she'll be thrilled to know you're back. And she says, speaking of us being back, is it still here? And she says, it? Did something come back with you? No, nothing came back with us, but I was told the only way to bring us home is if someone leaves candy for that thing. Is it still here? And in saunters Man Candy and says, yeah, I'm here.
So Asha says, don't come any closer, you monsters, stay away. And Casey's like, Asha, it's fine. And Asha's like, my Hallowpeens warned me about you. Get back. And then Man Candy says, look, if you ever want to go back to see them, I can arrange that. And they're like, really? Okay. All right, we're on board. And Man Candy fixes his wicked stare on me and answers, of course you can go, but I'll need payment. And Casey says, I'm good for it. Asha says, what's going on here? And Man Candy reaches under his plastic skirt and with a quick fluid motion, he rips his condom off his rigid form. A latex pop fills the air as a gigantic bag of gummy bears comes out, neatly packaged in his wrapper.
Yes. He reaches in and pulls out a green bear, pops it into his mouth, and catches it between his teeth. There's barely time to react as he dips me back and passes the candy over with a kiss. I savor my monster's cummy gummy while he pulls me back upright and holds me close to him. Cummy gummy.
No.
No. I like a gummy candy, but regular gummy bears, take or leave them.
Casey, is there a reason you're eating what looks like gummy candy from a used condom and hugging a freaking monster? Asha, as much as you are speaking my thoughts out loud, you have no room to talk.
You just had an orgy with 3 men with pumpkin heads.
Yeah. So Casey says, it's where I plan to spend the rest of the night. Make yourselves at home. You know where the guest room is, Asha. If you get hungry, there's plenty of candy on the counter. But this one is all mine. And then we get part 4.
Yes. From Samantha's perspective. She says, okay, so it's been 5 years since I've been home, but I didn't think my welcome party would be a woman trying to fend off a candy monster with a soap dispenser. Now, here's the thing. She disappeared 5 years ago.
Yeah.
There's no, concern for people that have been looking for her or any of that. Is this just a case that went cold and all of a sudden she's going to reappear and be fine? Everyone's going to be like, oh, hey, you're back. Cool.
Samantha doesn't really make sense because also she's been gone for 5 years. She's been living in Peen Town and she doesn't even mention the name of her Hallowpeen. She doesn't express any concern about being able to go back to her partner or partners, I guess. She is not showing the correct emotions for being back after 5 years or being gone after 5 years. This reaction is not correct for either situation that she is currently in.
Well, she does say the novelty of knowing about the sentient realm wore off years ago for me. I honestly gave up trying to get back home since my Hallowpeens told me, and also plural, so apparently she
Plural.
has more than one, told me the ferryman stopped traveling between worlds. When the ground started shaking, I thought there was an earthquake or something happening. Asha asks Samantha, will you be going back? And Samantha says, yeah, after some time, I think I will. What were yours like? And she says they were mischievous but kind and unbelievably horny. There were 3 of them, and I don't know how much longer I'd last before I'd forget this place. She's been gone for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Wild.
Insane. They kind of like trade notes on their Hallowpeens and talk about how they feel like Peentown is full of passion, and they're discussing like, oh, are we really going to go back? Do you really think that Man Candy is going to make Casey pay for all of our trips back? And then it says, an orgasmic scream so loud it should be illegal rips through the house right as Asha finishes her question. I laugh and joke. I have a feeling she's stocking up on prepaid credits for us now.
That is where we end. What'd you rate this one?
I think altogether it averages to about 2.5 stars for me. I think if it had been 2 separate stories, I would not have liked Asha's and I would have liked Casey's.
Yes, agreed.
And so I feel like I would have rated them differently individually, but together it was a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm averaging at 2.5. What about you?
I'm going to go with a 2 for this one. I agree. I liked Casey's story a lot more than I liked Ash's story, but it was a lot shorter. The lead up, it took too long. It was like we were 50 pages in before she got to the Hallowpeens.
Yep.
I typically like Holly Wilde. She's very creative. We'll give her that. But this one just didn't really do it for me. But that being said, I have 7, 8, 9, 16 words for penis and or balls. Would you like me to go through the list?
Yeah, please.
We have pecker, gourd hood, uncircumcised seed hole, veggie hoods, peens, pumpkin hood, butternut balls, gourd, gourded goodness, pumpkin pleasure pole, pumpkin pecker, hot dog, seed sack, candy hood, jawbreaker, and sugar stick. So she is a linguist.
Oh, for sure. Yes, she is.
There's 10 references other than vagina.
Oh, do give us that list also.
We've got pie, field, garden. We've got jelly bean, sugar snatch, excavate my cave.
Oh.
Bubbling cauldron, cavity, kitty, which you did not like.
Oh, God, I hated kitty.
And sugar plum.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Holly Wilde, for this gift that you have given us.
It is certainly a gift.
Speaking of gifts, it's time for my favorite part of the episode. Will you tell me who you've cast?
So I did not cast any of the Hallowpeens and or Man Candy because they would all be CGI. So they could be voiced by any of our favorite audiobook narrators.
Yeah.
So I did just do the girls. I got a little lazy with Asha, and I kept Madeline Petch from last week's casting. We changed that one to be more fitting to the character. But I feel like Madeline Petch has red hair, and it just complements the pumpkins.
Oh, sure.
So
I'll give you that.
There's that. For Casey, I don't know why. I don't think we really get a description of her at all, but I went with Lily Collins.
I love Lily Collins.
I do too. And I feel like Madeline Petch and Lily Collins look like they could be best friends. And then I did cast Claudia.
Nice.
Alexandra Daddario.
Yeah, she could totally play like the crazed stranger who misses her friend. For sure.
It's her eyes, I think.
Yeah.
She's got the dark hair and blue eyes that are just really big. And she could play that crazed, you need to help me get my friend.
Yes. I love it.
So that was my casting for this week. Now, what do we have coming up next week? This is very exciting.
This is the best news. So next week, we will be discussing Corny by Sabrina Cross. Now, we have discussed a Sabrina Cross before. The previous one was pounded by the pommel horse. But this week, we are going to have a very special guest to discuss it with us. Look forward to hearing from Nick the Forge Bear, who will be joining us to discuss Corny by Sabrina Cross.
I am so excited. He had posted on his TikTok a video about this book and how he hates candy corn.
Mm-hmm.
And I reached out and I was like, hey, that's on our list for Halloween books if you'd like to join us for an episode. And he is so on board. So we are really excited to talk to him next week. I'm excited.
I can't wait.
Well, if you've made it this far, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, tell all of your friends, comment on our social media posts. And with that,
We're at our wits' end.
see you next time.